Below are the daily news items rewritten as a listener-friendly script in English, with each topic preserved and summarized in 3 to 4 lines. Topic 1. Iran-related attacks, tanker incidents, Saudi output cuts, and inflation. Iran's attacks and repeated tanker incidents in and around the Strait of Hormuz have sharply disrupted Middle East oil and product supplies, with ship traffic through Hormuz dropping to well below 10% of normal levels. Saudi output and pipeline flows have been hit hard. Damage to the east-west pipeline pumping station cut roughly 700,000 barrels per day, and attacks on Manifa and Khurais reduced production by about 600,000 barrels per day, with many refiners and infrastructure also damaged. Global crude prices jumped toward $95 to $100 a barrel, pushing gasoline and fuel costs sharply higher and contributing to U.S. March CPI rising 0.9% month-to-month, 3.3% year-over-year. The energy shock drove a one-month 21.2% surge in gasoline, depressed consumer sentiment, reduced real wages in March by roughly 0.6%, and raised risks that higher fuel costs will pass through to food, transport, and other goods over coming months, complicating Fed policy. Topic 2. AI and big tech developments. CoreWeave signed a multi-year infrastructure deal to power Anthropic's Claude, making CoreWeave a supplier to all 9 of the top AI providers on its roster. Anthropic is reportedly evaluating a plan to design its own AI chips, a nascent initiative that could cost on the order of a few $100 million. Articles cited roughly $500 million as a reference point. Anthropic's powerful Mythos model was released in a restricted way, amid concerns it could be misused in cyber attacks. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell and Scott Bessent reportedly convened major bank CEOs to warn about model cyber risks, and Anthropic said it will allow access for only about 40 firms. The EU has levied roughly €6 billion, €7 billion in fines against U.S. big tech since 2024 in major cases: Apple, Meta, Google, X among them. Amazon reports about $15 billion annualized from AI services and around $20 billion annualized from custom chips, and Amazon is planning heavy AI capital spending. A Florida probe of OpenAI was not included in the articles summarized here. Topic 3. Markets, policy, and defense. Defense demand is surging. Lockheed Martin secured a roughly $4.7 billion preliminary contract to accelerate PAC-3 MSE Patriot production, and plans to more than triple annual output under an existing multi-year agreement, while U.S. approvals for potential Saudi sales of about $9 billion have also been noted. European defense stocks diverge from broader markets. The Stoxx 600 closed up about 0.4%, while many defense contractors plunged on expectations of negotiation or shifting demand. Examples include Rheinmetall, Hensoldt, Renk, Saab, BAE, with notable declines. In the U.S., NASDAQ gained around 0.4%, while the S&P 500 was slightly down and the Dow fell. Traders largely expect the Fed to hold rates through 2026, with futures pricing only about a 1 in 3 chance of a cut by December, and Treasury yields roughly 4.31% for the 10-year and 3.79% for the 2-year. Energy-driven inflation remains a key backdrop. March CPI rose 0.9% month-to-month, 3.3% year-over-year. Core CPI was milder at 0.2% monthly, about 2.6% year-over-year, and WTI stayed near $98 amid Middle East tensions. Topic 4. Household cost pressures and consumer impact. U.S. consumer prices surged 0.9% in March, driven primarily by a 21.2% one-month jump in gasoline. AAA's national average gasoline price reached about $4.15 per gallon, with some counties, e.g. Mono County, California, topping $6.76 per gallon, and jet fuel and diesel also hit record highs. Airlines and other companies are passing costs to consumers. Carriers have raised checked bag fees and cut economy perks. American Airlines, for example, increased first and second checked bag fees by $10 and imposes higher fees for third bags up to $200, while fuel surcharges and logistics cost increases are ex-BE.